Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It's me, 𝓲𝓵, and I'm sneakily stealing Nikki Tutorial's intro. I'm sorry, Nikki. I haven't built up an intro for this channel yet, but I am getting there. In today's video, I thought we can talk about my favorite games of all time. I seen PewDiePie's video a few weeks ago where he did this 3x3 or top 9, or I don't know what this format is called, but I decided to do that as well. I've been planning this and postponing this for a month because I was procrastinating, and then I saw his video and that gave me a format which I can use, and it makes it a little bit easier to put my thoughts into words if I have a format to do so. So in this video I will talk about my favorite 9 games of all time, games that defined me growing up, because I have to say in my adult life I haven't tried as many new games, so I'm always going back to my favorite games. I guess I will just list those here. Let's start with the first one. First one without question is the Syberia series. Distorted a little bit. I played this on stream already, and you can find it on the Cozy Streams channel if you are interested. If you haven't seen that yet or haven't heard about this series, this is basically an adventure game, point and click. It came out in the year 2002. It's by a French studio, 𝓪𝓵𝓼𝓸, and Benoît Sokal is the creator, who unfortunately passed away last year. And I remember the first time I played this game, I was very scared of the intro cutscene, because this game is basically about a young lawyer who goes into a small French town to buy a factory which produces automatons, and she's making a deal on behalf of a huge toy factory in the US. And it turns out that the woman who had the factory ownership has passed away, and it turns out that her long lost brother is not dead after all, and Kate has to track him down. Yeah, so I was very scared because the automatons in the opening cutscene are carrying a coffin. It's a funeral, and I don't know, I was like very little. In 2002 I was 6 years old, and as a 6 years old, me seeing that a lot of like lifeless creatures are carrying a coffin was super scary. And I remember I didn't dare to play with it until I was a little bit older. It has 3 episodes now. The first one came out in 2002, the second one came out in 2004, the third one came out in 2017, so 13 years after the original. I waited 13 years for that game, and the 4th installment will release this year, I think 10th of December or something like that, and we will play that on stream. So I am very excited. I already pre-ordered that. This series really means a lot to me, and it really defined who I am today. And I know that sounds cliche, but I really think this is true, because there's a lot to learn from this game and from the characters, and they are all very different and just very lovely. And Kate's life journey is something that I think we can all learn from, and especially as a young girl, it was very nice to see a very strong female lead in a video game. So yeah, I really like Syberia. If you are a teeny tiny bit interested in, check out my playthrough, because it's really worth checking out. So Syberia is absolutely well deserved in this top 9. I think I will have to put Final Fantasy X as the second one. This is the cover of the remaster. Obviously the original wasn't like this. My first meeting with Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy VII when I was very young, and our copy of Final Fantasy VII was in German. Obviously, as a very young kid who studied English in school, I had no idea about German. And even if it would be English, I would probably have no idea what to do, because I remember even when I was in 7th or 8th grade playing Tomb Raider Legend, there were puzzles in there in the Croft Manor which I had no idea what they meant, and like I tried to translate them, but they didn't really make sense. And I remember writing it on a piece of paper and taking it to my English teacher into school to help me figure out what the hell did it mean, and she translated it, but so I had to look for a walkthrough online. But that's a little bit off topic. We will get to Tomb Raider later in this video. So Final Fantasy VII was in German, and I never got past the first boss. If you guys know that game, that's the Scorpion boss in the first reactor. And I always died because I didn't know how to heal. So I didn't really finish that game ever. And later on I found out about Final Fantasy X second part. I don't know how do you guys say it in English, X2? I guess I will just call it X2, I don't know. So I knew about Final Fantasy X2 first before I knew about Final Fantasy X. And that's because I saw an I guess it's not an AMV, but like a GMV, game music video. And I really liked, I was a young girl, so I really liked how it was an all-girl squad, and like I saw the cutscene from the beginning of X2, Yuna was singing. I don't want to spoil, I guess Yuna singing is not that big of a spoiler, but the cutscenes really got to me, and I had to find out what game is this. And then I found out that Final Fantasy is a PlayStation exclusive, and at the time we didn't have a PlayStation 2, and this was in 2008, something like that. So by that time the PlayStation 2 was out for a long time, like a very long time, and we didn't have one. And I bought a second-hand PlayStation 2 just to play these two games, 10 and 10 2. And I even think that I played X2 first and 10 later, but I never managed to finish X2 because unlike the 10th, it's not very linear, and I skipped a lot of grinding, and I was never strong enough for the final bosses, and I also didn't really know what to do with a lot of them, so it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I bought these games secondhand, and I absolutely love them, and I absolutely love them up to these days. I played Final Fantasy X like 5 times already. I still haven't managed to 100% it because it's just damn hard, but the main story is really touching to me, and like experiencing it really meant a lot to me. And I don't want to say too much, or like don't want to spoil, but basically the story of Final Fantasy X, the base premise is that we meet a young man who is transferred 1,000 years forward in time, and he meets a little group of people who are trying to beat an evil being who terrorizes the planet, basically. I'd say that's a pretty nice explanation. Obviously later on it will get complicated and twisty, and like I think it's a really nice story and a really nice message. So I really like this game, and this game is the reason that I bought a PlayStation 2. It just really means a lot to me. I think this video will be super long if I keep talking that much, but the third one is Tomb Raider Legend. I loved a lot of Tomb Raider games, but Legend will always be my favorite. It's because when I first played the Tomb Raider games, I was very young. It was on PlayStation 1 when I played Tomb Raider 3, 2, 5. I think these are the ones, maybe 4. I think I played 4 on PC. I never really got far in them, and especially I remember Tomb Raider 5, being super scared of Tomb Raider 5. I remember the opening. Oh my god, this picture looks horrible. So I especially remember Tomb Raider Chronicles is the 5th Tomb Raider, and I remember the opening scene with Lara being in the opera house in this very tight black dress, and I remember loving it. And I think I didn't even get past the first level because I was so scared of the music when the dogs come at you and attack you, and they were very hard for a child, obviously. I would say even maybe as an adult I wouldn't figure out the puzzles, but I haven't tried them in a long time. I think it was kind of like the same age when I tried Final Fantasy VII for the first time. I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And when Legend came out, when did it release? I think 2008, maybe 2009, 2006. I think I liked it a lot for the reasons that other people hated it. I think it was much easier than the previous ones, and also the controls were much nicer. It looked way better. I really like this game, and the Tomb Raider series was always like a very permanent series in my life, even though that I never finished the older ones. I played them a lot, and I remember like what everyone did in the second Tomb Raider, the Croft Manor practice level. Me and my brother just kept locking Winston into the freezer as everyone, and basically we spent all of our time playing on that practice level because the story itself and the game itself was very hard for us, but it was super fun. This video is super nostalgic. So Tomb Raider Legend and Underworld were my favorite Tomb Raider games, and I got a kind of sad when they rebooted the whole series in 2013, because what I liked about Legend and Underworld is that it didn't require a lot of skill, if that makes sense. I'm not a very skilled gamer in the sense when, you have to like combat and aim. The rebooted games became very much like every other RPG game, just worse, I guess. So it was like Uncharted, Witcher, but with Lara, and I don't know, it just lost the magic for me. And I think I played the the first rebooted game, and I played the second one, but I don't think I finished the second one, and I haven't even played the last one, which I can't even remember the title of. But anyway, Tomb Raider Legend and Underworld, they were my favorite games. I really liked Angel of Darkness as well, and I tried to finish that a lot, but after Legend and Underworld, going back to the old controls, it is a little bit wonky. But I really wish they would made that over, like a remaster of Angel of Darkness, because that is also one of my favorite games, despite never finishing it. I really like the first levels when you know you are on the streets of Paris and you are on the run, and man, the memories. I really like this series, this part of the series. I really hope that they can do something with the Tomb Raider series in the future that makes me want to go back to it, but if not, I will be happy to replay these two games forever, I have to say. Of course, I can skip over the original Sims, the Sims 1, because this was the first Sims game I ever played, and I was very, very little when I first played this with my cousin. I think it was when it came out in 2000 or maybe 2001, I can't exactly remember, but I know I was very young and I couldn't even, I think I could already read, so maybe it was like when I was a first grader, so in 2001, 2? Yeah, around that time. Yeah, I remember playing it with my cousin. None of us really knew English, so we could just kind of figure out what the texts mean. Like, you know, based on trial and error, we learned to play the game. And it was such a fun experience. I really like this game, and I think I downloaded it a year ago and played a lot with it, and it's just so fun. I love how quirky this game is, and it's really hard. Man, I have to say, this game is super hard compared to the later games, and especially compared to The Sims 4. It's like night and day. Like, keeping your Sims alive in the original Sims is an absolute chore. Like, I remember my favorite Sims expansion ever, like from all games, is The Sims Superstar. And every time I play The Sims 1, I have a celebrity sim. And managing a celebrity career, like you have to go into Studio Town all the time, and keeping your sim alive is a super hard task to do. Like, very hard. I downloaded my first ever Sims 1 piece of custom content, which is like a shower that raises all the motives of your Sims, because in the Sims 1 there is no max motives cheat. So yeah, I actually plan to do a video on the Sims 1 on the main channel 𝓲𝓷𝓭, because I think it really deserves a lot more love, and I have really fond memories of this game. And I'm not sure if I should put the Sims 2 as a separate entry in this list, but yeah, let's put the Sims 2 as a separate entry, because obviously that is my absolute life-defining game of like all time. Because I learned so much because of this game. Like, I think a lot of us are like this, but for one, I learned how to use Photoshop because of this game. I learned how to do HTML, CSS because of this game, because I think around 2006, 5, I can't really remember the exact date, but I do remember that there was a time when Sims fan pages were a huge thing, at least in Hungary. Like, we had a hosting site in Hungary, and you could create free websites on it, and there were tons of Sims websites on it, and I had one. Actually, I didn't have one. Like, I had one on my own. I had one with one friend. I had another one with other friends. I had a fourth one with other friends. So it was a lot of work put in. And as we progressed with the years, I got better and better, and I learned how to code to make better websites, and you know, I learned how to use Photoshop to make better designs. And it's just really crazy how you kind of learn these things because of a game. And obviously I have my YouTube channel because of this game, and I'm here talking to you because of this game. So it's just really a game that I never left. Like, people usually say that you still love Sims 2 because of nostalgia, but I can't love it because of nostalgia, because I never stopped playing it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not feeling nostalgic about The Sims 2 because I keep playing it every day, and I did for 15 years now. Or how long has it? 17 years. I think I don't want to talk too much about The Sims 2 because I do that every day on the 𝓲𝓷𝓭 channel. But yeah, Sims 2 is an absolute defining game for my life. The next one I want to put here is Life is Strange. I didn't really write these down. I'm just kind of coming up with these as I go, but I had a very vague idea of what I want to put here. So Life is Strange, I think I first saw this game, I think in PewDiePie's Let's Play. I didn't play this game before, so I originally saw a Let's Play of it, because at that time I watched a lot of PewDiePie and Jacksepticeye, and I usually didn't play the games, I usually just watched the games. And I love this game so much that I actually played it later when I had the chance to get it. But this game is an absolute banger. If you follow me on Twitch, then you know that we played the latest Life is Strange game, 𝓲𝓵𝓷, and I wasn't really a fan. And in that stream, I thought that the later entries in this series didn't really get me. Like I didn't really enjoy Before the Storm, Life is Strange 2 and 𝓲𝓵𝓷, but the first Life is Strange game is something that I will absolutely never forget, and I absolutely love it. I got so fond memories of watching this series with different YouTubers and like playing it myself and just seeing how everyone reacts. And I think for a lot of us, it's very similar, but this game is such a strong game, I would say. Like the story of it is very easy to relate to. When I first saw this game, I think it was in 2014 when I was 18, and the characters in this series are 18. And maybe that's why it really got me. But even thinking about it now, or even watching Let's Plays about it now, it just really reassures me that this game is still an absolute banger, even though I am not 18 anymore. But I still resonate with the things that are represented in this game, and it just really hits home for me, and I really enjoy this. And if you haven't tried it, I give you a recommendation to try it. I think the first episode is free on Steam. This is really an amazing game, and I'm really happy that I got introduced to it, because I really think it changed me in a way, if that makes sense. Like I said it with Syberia as well, and like Final Fantasy's story is really strong and it means a lot to me, and Life is Strange's story means a lot to me as well. And I think maybe the next entry on this list, that's Stranding, obviously. How could I leave that out? So we are doing a top 9 here, and I think that Stranding might be in my top 5 or 3, maybe top 3 games ever that I played, because I just can't really put into words how much I love this game. You guys kind of know, if you follow me on the other channel, what type of games do I like. And I don't really like these shooter RPG style of games because I'm just not good in them. But that Stranding really made me enjoy this game because I think it's very layered and an amazing experience. Like you can get very immersed in this world and the characters. I think it's pretty amazing. And like the atmosphere of this game, the story, the way it tells you all the things you can interact with the world, like you can really build and shape the experience into your own image, I would say. The story, of course, I guess people told that it's a Hideo Kojima thing, that sometimes the story is a bit messy and wants to tell you more than it actually can, or I don't know. Sometimes it's very information heavy, like you sit through cutscenes and the information just gets dumped on you. But I didn't really mind that because it just made me get to know this world a lot better and get invested in it a lot more. And like I remember when I first finished this game, I was crying all evening. Like we finished it very late in the evening because the ending sequence, when you would think that it's over, you at least have 2 or 3 hours left. So if you haven't played it, I prepare you to prepare yourself. But it really touched me and it really speaks volumes to me. It really hurt me when I saw how much people hate this game, because I think it was a genius game, and I dare to say that this is really one of my favorite games, top 3 hands down. And if we don't count the Sims games, maybe this is the best. No, maybe it's kind of hard to decide. Top 3, let's just say top 3. I can't really decide which one I love the most from these, but Death Stranding is definitely one of my absolute favorite games. I'm being in a little bit of trouble now because we reached the point where I have to think about what I want to put here. I think I will put Detroit Become Human here because I remember I really enjoyed that, and I've been waiting for that for a long time to get that game because I was really excited to see. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget a few that I want to put here, and later on I will be like, oh my god, how could I forget? But yeah, Detroit Become Human was a nice experience for me as well, and I remember loving the story very much. Like, I really liked that your choices actually mattered, because in Life is Strange you have option to make choices, but in the end game they don't matter. But in Detroit Become Human your choices really do matter, and I remember when the first time we played it like I played Kara's part and my fiance played the guy's part, and I remember we somehow managed to kill Connor after like 4 chapters because we were so unsuccessful with the investigation. Like, if you make the wrong decisions, the game just cuts one character's story in half and you can't really do anything about it. So I really enjoyed my choices, really did matter. It kind of gave more, I wouldn't say pressure, but like, you know, weight to your choices. And obviously the game looks amazing. The actors in the game are amazing. I really love Brian Deckard. He's such a sweetheart, and it's just really an amazing game. And the story, I would say, it makes you think as well. So if you haven't, I would recommend trying it out. I think it's on Steam now. When we originally played it, it was a PlayStation exclusive, but I really recommend it. I really liked it, but obviously, as the type of gamer I am, this is basically just a huge quick time event, this whole game. So you don't really have to like shoot or not much action, or if you have action, it's quick time. If you are not into that, I absolutely understand, but I really loved it, that I didn't get frustrated because I couldn't do something. Like, I remember playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and I kind of liked that game. The world was absolutely stunning. I liked Aloy's character. I liked the story, where it was going. But all that combat, I couldn't handle. Because I'm just bad at video games. I just enjoy when I don't get frustrated with not being able to do something, because I play games to enjoy them and escape the real world. So I just play for fun. And the last one, it's a tough decision, but I think I will go with not Age of Empires, but Heroes 5. I don't know if you guys remember this game. I think a lot of people didn't really like this. I know Heroes 3 is the ultimate Heroes game that everyone loves, but when I was playing Heroes 3 for the first time, I was very little and I didn't have any idea what the heck should I do. And Heroes 5 looked nicer. It was 3D, and you know, I was born in mid-90s, and people who are a few years older than me love Heroes 3 because that's what they grew up with, but I grew up with Heroes 5. I still go back and play it. I still haven't finished the campaign, man, but I remember playing this with our friends and like on one computer. So while one person was doing their thing, we were all just sitting there and just like, looking, and then just forming alliances and backstepping the third person. Good times. But yeah, I really like that Heroes 5 was 3D. I think actually it's a beautiful game. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I love playing old games. I think it just really still looks nice. I mean, obviously, like, not really cinematics. The characters' lips are not moving, but like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't really make a game good for me. And it was in Hungarian, so I understood what the heck should I do. I really like how you go into the fortresses and, you know, you have this rotating showcase of how your fortress or like palace looks like, and they are all really pretty and I really like it. I absolutely love Heroes 5. Also, I think you can kind of see a pattern here that I like games with turn-based battle system, because Final Fantasy X has a turn-based battle system as well, and Heroes has a turn-based battle system, and the other games don't really have a battle system. Also, I have to say, like, probably a few of you guys are already like, no Nintendo games on this list. And that's because Nintendo wasn't really a huge thing in Hungary when I was a kid. Like, I don't think anyone had a Nintendo in our school. I don't know why, but like the beginning of the 2000s, Nintendo was not a huge thing in Hungary. PlayStation was a huge thing in Hungary in the early 2000s. And I remember the only portable console I saw was a PSP, one of my classmates had. And I remember him playing Sims Castaway on that. Yeah, so I haven't really played any Pokemon games until I was an adult. So that's why there's no Pokemon games on this list. Obviously, I love Pokemon, but I think I kind of got into the basic Pokemon fan because I I love the first and second season of the anime, and I played like 2 games or 3. But yeah, I love Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is my baby. It's like 90% of my personality that I love Bulbasaur. So anyway, I think this is my top 9 list. I hope I included everything, and I hope I won't change my mind. I hope I didn't leave anything out. Yeah, let me know, guys. Do you share any of these? I mean, probably you guys share The Sims because you guys are here because of The Sims, but let me know what are your favorite games, and it doesn't matter how old they are, it doesn't matter how new they are. I would really love to hear your opinions about this. If you like this video, leave a like, let me know in the comments, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I will put more personal related videos here, more like these talking kind of videos, or like random videos. I don't know if I want to check something out, maybe reaction videos. I don't know, I haven't figured out yet, but here we are. Thank you so much if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!